It was a quiet summer morning in the Buckrow Beach neighborhood of Hampton, Virginia, when a frantic 911 call shattered the calm. Julia Tomlin, a single mother of 3 young children, reported her 2-year-old son Noah Tomlin missing. She told authorities that she had last seen him around 1 a.m. when she put him to bed in their small mobile home. By the time she woke up later that morning, Noah was gone. Describing his last known appearance, she said he had been wearing a diaper and a green and white pajama shirt. For a moment, it seemed like this might be a simple case of a child wandering off. But as investigators began piecing together the events surrounding Noah's disappearance, the truth that surfaced was far more horrifying than anyone could have imagined. Noah Tomlin was born on May 2, 2017, in Hampton, Virginia. With his wispy light hair, piercing blue eyes, and sweet smile, he was the kind of child who melted hearts. Family members described him as gentle, affectionate, and quiet, traits that made the devastating turn of events even harder to comprehend. Noah lived with his mother and 2 siblings in the Bayside Village Trailer Park, a modest neighborhood near Buckrow Beach. Despite his young age, Noah's life was already marred by instability and neglect. Julia Tomlin, his mother, had a troubled and tumultuous history. Born on November 1, 1984, in the Hampton Roads area, she dropped out of high school after completing the 9th grade and struggled with severe personal issues throughout her life. Julia was known to battle substance abuse, bipolar disorder, PTSD, and ADHD. These struggles often led to legal trouble. In 2010, Julia was convicted of felony child neglect after her 1-year-old daughter suffered 3rd-degree burns. Julia admitted to placing the child on an electric stove but claimed she didn't realize it was turned on. The injuries went untreated for several days before the child finally received medical attention. This incident resulted in Julia spending 5 months in jail, and several of her children, including Noah, were placed into foster care. However, Noah was later returned to her custody for reasons that remain unclear. The day Noah was reported missing, police began an immediate and thorough search of the surrounding area. Officers combed through the trailer park, knocking on neighbors' doors and inspecting dumpsters. K-9 units were deployed, drones scanned the area from above, and divers searched nearby waterways. State and federal agencies soon joined the effort, leaving no stone unturned. Volunteers from the community rallied together, creating flyers, organizing prayer vigils, and sharing information about Noah on social media. The entire Buckrow Beach neighborhood came together in the hope of bringing him home safely. But as the hours stretched into days, hope began to wane. By the 3rd day of the search, the investigation shifted to a landfill 10 miles away from the Tomlin residence. This stark change in focus suggested that investigators no longer believed they were searching for a living child. The landfill search was grueling, with officers working in sweltering heat to sift through over 2 million pounds of garbage. Despite the physical and emotional toll, the search continued. One officer described the conditions as overwhelming, noting the unbearable smell and suffocating heat. "This tragedy has deeply affected our community and first responders," he said. "We knew the gravity of what we were searching for." On July 3, 2019, the heartbreaking discovery was made. After days of exhaustive efforts, the remains of a child, later identified as Noah, were found at the Hampton NASA steam plant, a facility that processes and incinerates waste. His small body had been placed in a Huggy diaper box, wrapped in 3 layers of plastic garbage bags, and discarded as if he were trash. The details were almost too horrific to comprehend. The autopsy report would later reveal the extent of Noah's suffering. He had endured severe physical abuse, known medically as battered child syndrome. His skull had multiple fractures consistent with blunt force trauma, and his ribs and jaw were also broken. Evidence suggested that Noah's abuse had been ongoing for some time. His growth had been stunted, and the pain he endured had been so intense that he often stopped eating. The official cause of death was determined to be blunt force trauma to the head. When questioned by authorities, Julia Tomlin's story quickly fell apart. Initially, she claimed that Noah had drowned in the bathtub after being left unattended. She said that she panicked and attempted CPR but realized he was already dead. Later, she changed her story, admitting that she had placed his body in the diaper box and asked a friend to dispose of it, though she insisted the friend did not know what was inside. Investigators found significant blood evidence in Noah's bedroom on the walls, sheets, and clothing discarded in the trash. further contradicting Julia's claims of accidental death. Witness testimony provided additional disturbing insights into the events leading up to Noah's death. One man, the father of one of Julia's other children, admitted that he had delivered drugs to Julia the night Noah disappeared. He stayed at her home briefly and saw Noah alive in the living room with his siblings. Another man who visited the home the following day to meet Noah reported that Julia told him the toddler was asleep. Investigators now believe that Noah was already dead at that time. Julia Tomlin was arrested and charged with second-degree homicide, child neglect, and concealing a body. The legal proceedings were drawn out, with repeated delays due to requests for psychological evaluations and changes in her defense team. In December 2021, Julia unexpectedly pled guilty to all charges, avoiding a jury trial. During the sentencing phase, the court heard emotional testimony from those who had known Noah and witnessed Julia's parenting. One of Julia's older daughters took the stand, urging the judge to impose the maximum sentence. Noah endured the worst of her cruelty in his 2 short years, she said. He witnessed nothing but hate and abuse from the one person who was supposed to protect him. The judge sentenced Julia to 55 years in prison, 40 years for second-degree homicide, 10 years for child neglect, and 5 years for concealing a body. She was ordered to serve the sentences consecutively, ensuring that she will spend the rest of her life behind bars. The discovery of Noah's body sent shockwaves through the Buckrow Beach community. A makeshift memorial appeared near his home, with neighbors leaving teddy bears, flowers, and heartfelt notes. But even this small gesture of remembrance was marred by tragedy when the memorial tree caught fire, likely due to candles left burning nearby. Though the fire was deemed accidental, the loss of the memorial felt like another devastating blow to a grieving community. Noah's story is a haunting reminder of the vulnerabilities faced by children in abusive homes and the tragic consequences of systemic failures. How was a child returned to the care of a mother with a documented history of neglect? Could more have been done to protect him? These are questions that continue to weigh heavily on those who followed his case. Despite the heartbreak, Noah's memory lives on. For those who loved him, he was a sweet and innocent child who deserved so much more than the life he was given. His story serves as a call to action, a plea for vigilance and compassion for vulnerable children who may not have a voice of their own. If this story moved you, please consider subscribing to our channel. By sharing these stories, we aim to shed light on the dark realities of the world and honor the memories of those who can no longer speak for themselves. Don't forget to like, share, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next investigation. Together, we can give these stories the attention they deserve.